Okay, let's move to the third part of this conversation. There are talks now of a possible coalition. I know I have spoken to Jan Joubert in an interview about 2 or 3 years ago when he wrote his book. And he came out at that time already telling me that the next president might not come from the ANC, but from the possibility of a coalition. Everybody thought he was crazy, but now it seems like a possibility. But that's a whole other ball game than coalitions on a local level, isn't it?
So let's again step back. On a local level, it's easier for the DA and the EFF to have some kind of local pragmatic partnership because issues of land are often more on the national or provincial level. Issues of foreign policy, fiscal policy, social policy come from the national and then the provincial level. However, remember what I said earlier, that even though the EFF has more in ideological commonality, more in common ideological, with the ANC, the EFF's path to growth remains an ANC which is in decline, an ANC which is not getting its groove back. So let's start, before we go nationally, a place like Gauteng. Anyone who tells me that the ANC can get over 50%, I'd say it's very unlikely right now. So the economic powerhouse of our country is likely to have a coalition government. We look at KwaZulu-Natal. This was Jacob Zuma's heartland. This is one of the reasons why so many people voted for the ANC when Jacob Zuma was president. You're seeing that fall apart. Are we going to see a coalition government in KwaZulu-Natal? Then, of course, there's the Western Cape. Are the DA at risk there? And then, incredibly enough, and I'm going to come to your national question now, but just work through the provinces. The opposition always get excited about Northern Cape because there are very few voters. You don't have to spend a lot of money there. They always fall well short. Less than 51% of the Northern Cape public voted for the ANC this time around. We know a lot of those local parties won't be on the ballot paper next time. We know that more people participate in the national elections, the local government elections, and they're often ANC voters. So the ANC might not be at risk in the Northern Cape now, but they are vulnerable. A province like the Free State, Ace Magashule wasn't front and center of the ANC's campaign in the Free State for the first time since 1994. Now you see the ANC getting under 51% there. Again, the same factors. More ANC voters will turn out next time. Less of those local parties will be around, but you see the party vulnerable in a place like the Free State. So coalitions are going to spread to the provinces. Now let's go to your question about the national elections. We see that the ANC got 46%. Again, the same principles. More people will vote next time, and more ANC people vote next time, and less of those local parties will be on the national ballot. However, having said that, you've seen the ANC in a sharp decline in 2019. You see that sharp decline continue in 2021. There is the possibility that if the ANC cannot energize its base, which is increasingly rural, increasingly elderly, it could have a problem. It might get over the line in 2024, but you can bet your bottom dollar by 2029, there will be a coalition discussion. And look, I think a lot's going to happen. We have to wait for the ANC's elective conference in next year. We might see new parties develop. We might see a political reconfiguration. But these are going to be fascinating times. So, Izak, I'm not answering your question directly, but I think if not 2024, certainly after that, there'll be a coalition.
Is this perhaps, and Liesel Louvorderen is asking the question in Beeld, I think. Is this perhaps the end of struggle parties?
I would never write off parties quickly. I always think, let me just take a step back here quickly. The ANC and the DA find itself in a difficult position today. I mean, not really the DA, but there's an existential crisis DA. On the one hand, they're losing colored voters to the Patriotic Alliance and voters to the Vryheidsfront. At the same time, a lot of opposition voters are saying, we want a party led by a black person who can appeal to a broad section of the public. So the DA is caught in this in the middle of this difficult race. They are, and the ANC have suffered 2 setbacks in 2 consecutive elections. I say to them, you still have far more members of parliament than any other party. You still have far more councillors than any other party. There's still some time to go before the next election. You have the ability to go on a Lekgotla or a Bosberaad and get your public representatives focused and not make a mess of this. Are they going to do that? Probably not, but they can. And I say that about struggle politics. Is this the end of struggle politics? It seems that the Party of Liberation is that the ANC is being increasingly judged as the party of poor service delivery rather than the Party of Liberation. Might help them in 2024, but smart people like Cyril Ramaphosa and people like Fikile Mbalula who care deeply about the future of the ANC know that it needs to become the party of good governance and less the Party of Liberation. Otherwise, that slow decline will continue.